Oh, holy macaroni! You guys are looking good. Hi. What is courage? Making the decision to take my shoes off just before I got on stage? No kidding. I could give you a fancy definition from a dictionary. Instead, I asked my daughters. My 9-year-old said, even when you're scared, you give it a try. My 13-year-old said, when you're brave and uncomfortable, you just do it and then you feel proud. I asked our villagers, that's what we call our students of our school, and a year 3 student said to me, she said, if you're scared of something, you do it anyway, because the next time you do that thing, it will be less scary. And a gorgeous preppy, been at our school for only, 8 weeks, said to me, courage is when I ask a friend if they will play with me, knowing that they might say no, but it's good for me to try. And I thought, if children understand this so clearly, why do we leave something as important as this to chance? We do not leave literacy to chance. We do not leave the learning of numeracy to chance. So why do we leave the development of courage to chance? At our school, we do courage. We believe children are more capable than what we think. We say we want resilience. We say we want independence. But often we create environments that are not that. We're removing the discomfort. We're reducing the risk. Do not make mistakes. We are reducing all discomfort for our students. When there is no discomfort, there is no courage. Courage cannot be taught in theory. It is built when a child is both safe and uncomfortable, like I am here on stage with you all today. We do this often in small, tiny pieces because the key difference is intention. Because if courage is the decision, bravery is the action, resilience is the outcome. We cannot hope that courage is developed suddenly on a year 6 camp, or that one time a child abseils, yeah, you're now so courageous. Or, they just wake up one day and can be brave. Our school, we design for courage. Ooh, I know. We intentionally create moments of separation. I know. How? Tell me more. Small moments. A courageous drop-off where a parent says goodbye at the bottom of the stairs. Growing into a larger moment where our year 1 to 6 students stay over for our annual birthday sleepover. Growing into a larger moment where students say goodbye for 2 nights from year 3 for our camp. Can you see the build? You're like, we do that all the time. But it's in those small moments of discomfort, the small moments where courage grows. Furthermore, we intentionally allow for managed risks. We do risky play. We opened our school in a former nightclub. We have no green space. What do? We leave the boundaries of our school every single day for what we call village adventure time. Why? Because we want to build our students' awareness. We want them to assess risk, not avoid it. We intentionally teach our children how to be aware. We teach our villagers how to read the ocean, look at traffic. We look at the boulders, look at people, not just the people we know, people that are in our environment. We swim in our clothes once a week. We go out in the rain. We climb trees, not our trees, Gold Coast City Council trees. And we take our shoes off. Yes, we get ant bites. Yes, we see snakes. Yes, there are plenty of snakes in Coolangatta. Can you believe it? We go snorkeling. We go bouldering. We slide down sand dunes. We teach pavement etiquette and cafe etiquette. Why? Why? Because through it all, children are learning hazards. Children are learning to think. They're learning to adjust. They're learning to trust themselves. And even our preppies know how to do their own dynamic risk assessments, things that we as adults do unbelievably well. None of these are random moments. Each and every single one of them is intentionally designed so children get uncomfortable and start practicing courageousness. Because courage does grow. It grows when they start trusting themselves, knowing who they are. And when we step back as adults, they step forward. They so want to show you what they can do because children are capable. We intentionally shift our language from be careful to be aware. Because be careful says, I am your eyes. Be aware. Have you noticed? Turns it to you use your eyes. You think. You decide. Do you feel safe? Because language shapes whether children feel fragile or capable. We need to help our students to expand the horizons of the world that is out there in a world that feels like it's closing in. And the only way we can do that is by letting them do things, do uncomfortable things. And here's what I've learned. Courage isn't built in big moments. It's built in tiny moments every single day. Moments where a child might hesitate, yes, in their learning, or yes, in a friendship opportunity, or yes, going swimming in my clothes, yes, for taking my shoes off. However, they keep trying, they're persisting. And when they are this safe and uncomfortable state, resilience started to grow. We didn't plan on resilience. It was happening because they experienced courageousness. Now, I see this in our learning. And one of our most powerful examples I would love to share with you is our balcony to bowl program. Right? Nightclub, we have a balcony. We grow things, lots of things in our balcony. So what happens is this. Students design a menu. From the menu, they source the ingredients. They grow the ingredients on our balcony. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes they forget to water it. Sometimes they overwater it. As I continue to talk, I just want you to start listing in your head how many small moments of courageousness form from this. Over time, the ingredients grow, the ones that survive. They harvest them, they start cooking and baking with them, they try it. Something's not right. They have to adjust it. Sometimes it's still not right, so they have to adjust it again. Maybe they add a little bit more, maybe take something out until it is just right. They persist. And then they put on their chef hats, they put on their aprons, they set the table, they welcome their guests, and they serve a 3-course meal with a hero Indigenous ingredient to 40 adults. They speak, they sing, they share poems, they share stories. They clear dishes, they wash dishes. They ask for feedback, they ask for a tip. All with a sense of pride within them. That's not just a cute learning activity. Every single step was courage. It takes a lot of bravery to do that. Our students are prepped to year 6. Preps do it, our year 1s, year 2s, all the way to year 6. That's a lot. And when courage is practiced like this, every single day, along with our daily adventures into the rain and walking back wet and sandy before you can get changed, and exploring the world, navigating the world, understanding the world, something incredible happens. Something deep inside. And then in November, every year, I scare the pants off the parents because we put our villagers in a position where they embrace the big blue. They swim across Tallabudger Creek. Now, Tallabudger Creek's not a creek, it's a creek. And our villagers, our children, are standing at the edge and their swimming caps on, their swimming gears on. Some of them are crying. And they're chanting, "I'm uncomfortable. I am safe. I can do hard things." Their choice. We're not forcing them. There have been moments where friends have turned to their parents and gone, "I'm really scared, but I'm going to be brave for my friend. My friend needs me. We can do hard things. We are uncomfortable, but we're safe." And they walk into Tallabudger Creek, tears running down their face. On the beach of staff, parents, siblings. They wade into that water. They trust the swim staff. They're leaning on their friends. They're leaning deep into themselves. The tide whips them away, and their life jacket holds them. They start kicking and paddling. Maybe the tears have stopped, sometimes they don't. And they try and they're swimming, and then they look up and they see the entire village standing on the beach. Their family, their friends, kids older than them or younger than them. We are all cheering, screaming, shouting their names, waving flags. They don't see we're sobbing. Why? We're so proud. But that fills them. It fills their hearts as the pride runs down our faces. That is our swimming carnival. That takes guts. That takes courage. And you're absolutely right. They get out of the water and they're walking taller. I can do hard things now. I can do anything, Miss Bianca. Yeah, you can. Because they have just faced something that they thought was impossible. Because they can do hard things. So if we know this, if we know and we know children are capable, and if we know that courage can be nurtured, then the question becomes, what are we going to do differently? Because an education worth having does not leave learning courage to chance. So have a think. When was the last time you did something courageous? Maybe it was coming here tonight, wearing heels, wearing shoes. Maybe it was putting on something that you've never worn before. But I want you to think, when you stepped into that uncertainty, how did it feel? Then As you were processing it, what was going through your head? What was going through your heart? When you eventually did that thing and you got to the other side, how did it feel afterwards? Who taught you that? Who taught you that, or did you learn it by doing? So tomorrow, my challenge to you is this. Instead of removing the challenges from the children, ask yourself this. If I pause and ask myself, what would it look like if I let this child be just a little bit uncomfortable? What would the outcome be? Because courage can grow, does grow, when adults get out of the way. We give it space. Because courage is not the decision. Courage is not in the thinking. Courage is in the doing. And our children are far more capable than what we think. Thank you.